You're listening to Sonic Female Podcast with Justine Blazer. Today's show is brought to you by Kitchen Supreme. All of your kitchen supplies in one spot. Visit kitchen-supreme.com. Hi, I am Justine Blazer, and welcome to another edition of Sonic Female Podcast. On today's show, we have an emerging female country recording artist, Ava Rowland, in studio. You've seen her play at the legendary Bluebird Cafe, Puckett's, and festivals all throughout Kansas, Ohio, and Kentucky. And she just made her CMA performance debut. We'll talk to her more in just a minute, but first we're going to kick off the show with her debut single, Polaroid Picture, Miss Ava Rowland.
Ain't afraid of work, building us a dream. With your Hanes t-shirt and your denim jeans, and you wear it all with the classic style. Behind your angel eyes, I love your devil smile. And boy, I'm still yours. So take me like a Polaroid picture. Just one look and an instant, you are everything I've been hoping for. So shake me like a Polaroid picture. You make me wanna love you forever. Everything I've been looking for. They don't make 'em like you anymore. You got a gentle touch with those calloused hands, and you don't need luck, 'cause you're a self-made man. And you're sweet as sugar, but tougher than the rest. You take it to the Lord in your Sunday best. And boy, I'm still yours.
Hello, Ava. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You have a very busy schedule. You've been doing all kinds of amazing things, and we'll get to that in just a second. But tell me a little bit about kind of how you got into music. By the way, I love that song. It's amazing.
Thank you. I got into music because my family, I really grew up around it. I grew up in church, and my parents were worship leaders, so that had a big influence on me. And also, during Christmas parties, my family would gather around with their guitars, and we would all sing. So, I mean, you could say it was really in my blood, but my first time performing out in front of people, I was 9 years old and it was at my church. And then that's when I realized that this is what I meant to do. And then after I graduate high school, I really want to 100% pursue it.
You are from originally Cleveland, Ohio, correct?
Yes.
And you've been coming back and forth to Nashville, Tennessee for the last couple years. So how did you kind of go from Ohio to the Nashville scene?
Well, it was my senior year. I was singing in a contest, and
Which one was that?
oh gosh, I cannot remember. I remember it was in Toledo.
Okay.
But I honestly cannot remember the name of it. But I was there, and the talent scout for PCG, Chad Gentry, he was there, and he came up and he was like, we have a great artist development company called PCG, and we would love to have you. And we kind of put it off for a little bit because it was in the middle of my senior year, and I was just like, I just need to focus on my grades, and I need to graduate, and then after we'll think about it more. So then after I graduated, we were like, this is a great opportunity. These people in the company seem like great people. So we were like, okay. So we started coming for PCG meetings and stuff, and then it just kind of went off from there.
Is that the label or is that just another company?
It's not a label. I think it's just the name of it, honestly, I think.
Okay. So you started coming down here and you kind of live part-time here, part-time back in Ohio. You're performing up in Ohio. You're performing down here. How did you sort of get into the Nashville scene? You said you started getting introduced to different talent scouts, but then how did you get, shows like the Bluebird and shows like Puckett's and the CMA Festival and all those amazing things? Kind of tell the listeners how that developed.
Well, the Bluebird, really, we just kept calling because you just have to keep calling until they answer.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really, my mom and I just kept calling, and then they finally answered, and then we were like, God, you are so good. And then I just went and performed there, and then, which was amazing. It was super fun, and actually just a real funny quick story. When I was performing, when I was getting my guitar all set up, I dropped my guitar on the stage.
Are you serious? Oh, no.
And of course, because when it dropped, it was plugged in already. So, of course, it made a big bam. And then everyone faced their mouth.
Was the guitar okay?
Yes.
Okay, everybody's good.
Yes, it was okay.
Yeah.
And
that's probably kind of nerve-wracking. I mean, if that happened on your Bluebird debut, I mean, I can't imagine the nerves already, and then that happens.
Oh, yeah.
How did the crowd respond? Did they sort of laugh it off, or were they in shock?
More shock, especially the ones that owned guitars. They knew that, oh no, no, that can't happen. So yeah, but it was super fun, and it was a great experience to have. I also performed at the listening room, which was really exciting, and that was for a PCG songwriter night there. So that's how I got in there, and that was really cool. And I really that's one of my favorite places to play because it's obviously called the listening room because they make the audience be quiet and they actually listen to what you're saying and stuff, which is really respectful and awesome.
The Bluebird's like that too.
Yeah, that's also like that, which is really nice. Sometimes when you perform out in bars and stuff, it's really loud and no one can hear you.
Sometimes pays attention. So
yeah,
oh yeah.
So it's nice to have places like that.
Absolutely. So you performed a lot in church, correct? Did you do the church worship band, or how did you sort of get into that?
Well, I grew up in Assembly of God churches, so we had, I don't know if you've heard of the Youth Convention Fine Arts, but it's everything in arts. There's art categories that you would think I didn't even know that was a thing. And that's where I sang a lot of solos. I also did a worship team where I led the worship.
Nice.
At Fine Arts, and it's like a competition where it's first in states, and then if you get the right score, you get to advance to nationals, which is really cool. And my senior year, I advanced to nationals for my singing and also a human video, and I can explain that in a little bit, what a human video is.
That sounds interesting. I'm so intrigued.
Yes, it's actually really cool. It's like where you tell a story with music, but you can't talk and you can't have props. You just have to use yourself.
Interesting. So how would you do that? What's an example?
Mine was on Rachel Joy Scott, and she was the first victim at the Columbine shooting back in 1999. And you really, it's hard to explain, but
Is there a video out there?
yes, there
Okay,
is
good.
there's a bunch on YouTube, and
Just search it then.
yes, but I mean it's just kind of, I don't know. My suggestion would just be look it up.
Okay, I'm intrigued now. What's that called again?
Human video.
Human video. So look that
Yeah.
up. Interesting.
It's honestly really hard to explain. Just you have to tell a story with your body and build props with your body, like tables.
Do you use other people with you too, or is it just by yourself?
Mine was just by myself, but you can do human videos with a group, which would be called a human video group. But mine was called human video solo because it was just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was super, super fun. But yeah, like you said, I grew up in church. I led worship, and then recently I was on a worship team and I played guitar and I would sing backup.
Nice.
So-
I mean, it's a great experience as you're growing up and just
Oh,
being in
yeah.
front of those people every single Sunday. You said your parents were involved in that?
Yeah, when I was growing up, my parents were worship leaders.
Worship leaders. That's fantastic. That's great. So yeah, being in front of all those people every single week, was it what, hundreds or thousands of people? I mean, sometimes those churches are rather big.
No, my church was small. It was about maybe 100 on like a big Sunday.
Okay.
So-
Hey, that's great. I mean, getting in front of those people all the time, it just really helps you get your chops up and get yourself really primed for bigger things. Absolutely. Is Christian music a big part of your sound? I mean, you said you liked Lauren Daigle and some of the other artists. Who would be your biggest inspiration?
Like in the Christian genre or just in general?
Yeah, Christian genre and in general, like who you feel, your sound you sort of inspired by.
In the Christian genre, I would say my biggest inspiration is probably Francesca Battistelli.
Oh, I love her. Yeah.
Yes, she's so good.
Yeah.
And in general, I always when they ask me what's your sound like, I always say if Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert had a daughter, it would be me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
so-
You do look a little bit like Carrie Underwood, a little bit.
You know, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Believe it or
Yeah.
not.
If anyone is not familiar, go search Ava Rowland right now and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm looking at her right now. It's weird, but it's,
Hey, it's a
whatever.
good thing
Yeah.
to be told that because she's beautiful.
And I've met Miranda too, so I could see that. I could kind of see how that would sort of work. But that's fantastic. I mean, those are all great powerhouse vocalists, from Miranda to Carrie Underwood to Francesca Battistelli to Lauren Daigle, who's
Yes.
I love Lauren Daigle. I think she's
too.
amazing. So you also are writing. Who was your biggest inspiration, and how did you get into songwriting?
I think my biggest inspiration for songwriting, I'm trying to think because there's so many great songwriters, but I really like how Casey Musgraves writes. I think her lyrics, she just writes them beautifully. And I got into songwriting, I think my first time actually writing a song was my senior year in high school, and it wasn't the best song, obviously, because it was my first one, but that's when I first got into songwriting, and then PCG really helped me find my sound and gave me ideas how to write songs and the right way to write them, and yeah, my producer, Britton Cameron, he advised me to kind of eavesdrop on conversations when, like, you're in line at Walmart and somebody might say a phrase and it's like, oh, that could be a good song idea. So I have a lot of phrases in my phone in my notes for song ideas. So
They always say that. Always watch being around songwriters because you may just be in a song. That's so true because you were always having to find inspiration from everything.
And
That's absolutely true.
yeah, actually, it hasn't been released yet. It actually hasn't even been recorded. But this past week, I just wrote a song with Britton Cameron. And one of my best friends, like about maybe like a week before I wrote the song, she was talking about, because she just went through a breakup, and she was like, I don't even really think I like him. He's just a habit. And I was like
that.
I was like, thank you. And she was like, what? And I was like, that could be an awesome song.
Did you write it?
Yes.
You did? Awesome.
Yes.
Well, you have to come back and play it for all of us later. Yeah, that's amazing.
That should be coming out, I would say, within the next, well, definitely I'd say before Christmas.
Okay. So you have 2 songs out, 2 singles. So are you doing the single route, or are you looking to put together an album? What is your direction on all that?
Well, I already have an album out, which the 2 singles are on there, but now we're releasing, we're giving obviously more attention to the singles on the album. But as of right now, I just have a whole album out. As of in the next year and a half, we're probably just going to be releasing singles and not a full album again until maybe I get a little more established.
No, that's so good because, I just put out an album. Was it April? Yeah, April. I produced it all myself, and it's interesting.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And so it's interesting, though, because I'll, post a song, and people are like, wow, when's that coming out? And I'm like, it's been out my album for, a month now.
Yes.
People are we live in a social media world now, and people are just clueless. They're oblivious unless you just and hand it on a silver platter. So single route's good.
Yes, and actually, with today's technology, no one really listens to an entire album anymore.
No, they don't.
It's all singles, and half the time, my Britton and I, my producer, were talking about this, and we were half the amazing songs on records don't even get heard anymore because there's just all singles now.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, going the single route is definitely good. Now, are you doing videos with each one of your singles as well? I saw your videos. They look fantastic. Who did those, by the way?
My first video was done by the director David Abbott, which he was phenomenal.
Is he here or is he in Ohio?
He's in Nashville.
Okay.
I don't know if he lives in Nashville, but he lives around the area.
It's a great video.
Thank you.
Really, really good.
Thank you. Actually, my Oma, which is grandma in German, sitting back there. Have you seen the video?
Yes, I saw your latest video.
Yes, the Polaroid picture.
Yes, where you're walking with the boots and stuff.
Wait, no, that was Exit Sign.
Oh, is that Exit Sign?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. I saw that one. I didn't see the other one though.
Okay,
I'll
well,
watch it.
if you when you watch it, there's a lady sitting on a swing at the beginning, and that's my grandma in it.
Oh, well, your grandma's famous.
Yeah, which was pretty special to have her. And then my second director for Exit Sign was Noah Tidmore. So yeah, Noah was pretty awesome.
That's great.
It might be Tidemore, but I think it's Tidmore.
Yeah, tomato, right?
That's right. But yeah, they were both awesome. And then just real quick, I will be releasing another single in the next, probably in July, because it's more of a summer song. It's called California Gypsies.
Oh, I love that.
And we just were in California about 3 weeks ago, and we recorded the music video for it, which was really exciting.
In California?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
we
awesome.
were on a beach and everything. It was a beautiful beach. It was awesome.
That's awesome. So now you're doing music, you do it full time. Do you have things that you do back in Ohio? Are you working a part-time job? Kind of what does your day-to-day life look like when trying to balance the artist thing? Tell us about that.
When I wake up, I like to have quiet time with Jesus, because if I don't, I feel not myself, and I feel I can't conquer the world without my quiet time. And obviously with my schedule, I don't always get the chance to have my quiet time, but whenever I like to have it as much as I can. So that's what I like to do. And then I exercise every day, because that's mentally I need that to exercise.
Absolutely.
And then whenever I'm in town, which is when I'm in my hometown, which is barely ever because I'm always traveling, I work at Boys and Girls Club, which they're awesome because like I said, I'm never there. So they balance my traveling schedule really well. So that's what just to make extra money when I'm back in town. So
that's great. What do you do over at Boys and Girls Club?
It's really, it's not a daycare, but you just help the kids with their homework and their school. I teach computer class there, and this girl that works here, she does literacy, and we have a hot meal for the kids every day. So it's really you could say it's a daycare, but there's more to it. You actually, it's kind of you're a teacher without a degree.
That's really cool that you're able to spend your time helping others like that, because I'm a big believer in kind of what you put out is kind of what you receive. So that's absolutely amazing. It's great. I wish more people did that. So let's talk about your current single. You have a brand new single. Tell us about that.
Exit Sign, yes.
Yeah.
It is on the record, Polaroid Picture, actually the EP, Polaroid Picture. And Exit Sign is my favorite on the album. And it's the most personal one also, because about 2 years ago, I was in a really bad relationship. It was just bad all around. Yeah, abusive physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. It was just not good at all. And there's a line in the song that it's saying that, you know, it's gonna suck if you stay in the relationship, but it's also gonna suck if you leave because you care about him still. So it's like gonna be hard either way. And through the relationship, I saw the exit sign because I knew it wasn't right, but I cared about him still, you know. And it's kind of like when you're in that situation, you're just kind of brainwashed, you know, because they talk you down and stuff. And it's just, it's hard to get out of that spot in your life.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I was in a relationship for 5 years like that before my current one. And it's exactly what you're describing. It's like mental abuse, just putting you down, just, you know, trying to stray you away from the light, you know, the good. And it's just dragging. And it's hard because it took me like a year to get away from this guy. You know what I mean? Because you have to really know who you are and be strong with your core. And sometimes it takes a long time to get to that point. So I commend you. Were you able to get out of that eventually?
Yes.
And that makes you a stronger person.
It does, especially in the relationship aspect of life. And then one day, you know, with the help of my friends and family, I realized that, you know, I am strong. I do not need him. He is, I'm not who he says I am. And you could say again, I saw the exit sign and then I finally walked through it.
That's amazing. Let's play it right now. Exit sign, Ava Rowland.
I could just keep telling that voice in my heart to shut its mouth, 'cause I don't wanna fall apart. I keep swearing that he'll change, but he's always just the same. I don't know how much more I can take. I feel like I'm up here trying to walk out on a wire, caught in between the raging storm and burning fire. Either way it goes, I know it's gonna hurt, but down the road I'll thank myself for being strong enough to let him go. Now I'm finally standing up, standing tall, I'm worth it, yeah, I've found me. And I ain't going back, no, I won't let him tear me down, wear me out, make me believe that what I feel ain't right. So I'm heading for that exit sign. No more lonely nights just waiting by the phone. No more wondering if he's sleeping alone. 'Cause I've wasted too much time and I just know that it ain't right. So I ain't gonna cry. Baby, kiss my love goodbye. Now I'm finally standing up, standing tall, I'm worth it, yeah, I've found me. And I ain't going back, no, I won't let him tear me down, wear me out, make me believe that what I feel ain't right. So I'm heading for that exit sign. He danced with the devil, now he's dancing all alone. I should have done this a long time ago. 'Cause I'm finally standing up, standing tall, I'm worth it, yeah, I've found me. And I ain't going back, no, I won't let him tear me down, wear me out, make me believe that what I feel ain't right. So I'm heading for that exit sign. Heading for that exit sign. Ooh, yeah.
Woo! I love that. It's amazing. I love the production on that. I love how you could strip it down.
Thank you.
There's no drums. There's nothing like that. And it's just you, the music, and your voice.
Yeah, actually, that song wasn't supposed to be on the EP, but my producer was like, that song is just too good not to be heard. So we were like, okay, let's put it on there. But we just decided, like you said, to do a stripped down version. And I think there's only a guitar, and I believe, what's that? I think it's called a steel.
Yeah, the pedal steel.
Yes. Thank you. That's definitely the most personal one on the record.
And I love the video where you're kind of walking with the heels. And
Thank you.
That's kind of like a similar stripped down vibe of, where did you film that at?
Filmed it at, oh gosh, here we go. I can't remember what it's called, but it's in East
The
Nashville.
supper club joint with that list it looks like.
No, it was actually in like a rundown building, and that was like a prop. We took. Have you seen A Star Is Born?
I have not. I'm like the one person that hasn't seen that movie. I know.
Well, there's
everyone can hate me. It's okay.
It's so good. I recommend it.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where she's singing in a bar with like those streamers behind her, and like the lighting was like kind of dark, and that's the kind of vibe we took for the video. And we wanted it to be a stripped down version of a video, like not too much going on, because we want everyone to listen to the lyrics and know that they're worth, it, and they don't need a guy to talk down on them.
Yeah.
They can walk out.
Absolutely.
And trust me, I know it's easier to say than do. You're worth it. So
what would you say to someone who may be experiencing that right now?
I would say that you are not alone, and I know it's very hard to get out of that relationship because, like I said earlier, you're brainwashed. But, I'd say talk to somebody that you look up to and that that can help you through it, and just pray about it, and you're strong enough to get out of it, and you will get out of it. Just be strong and know that there's someone out there special for you that will treat you way better than this person's treating you right now. So just stay strong and just leave because they're not worth it.
Yeah, no one deserves to be treated like that. Absolutely. That's
Heck
true.
no.
Well, let's move on and talk a little bit about your CMA performance. You just performed just recently at the CMA Music Festival on the Spotlight stage. That's awesome. So tell me about that.
That was so much fun. It was an awesome experience. I met so many great artists, and the fans were awesome.
But it was hot.
It was hot.
A little bit hot. How many songs did you perform?
I performed for, I believe, 15 minutes it was. So I'd say about 3 or 4 I got through.
Okay, awesome. Now, did you have a band or
No,
did you just do the
it was
acoustic
just
thing?
me.
Okay.
Just me and my guitar.
You and your guitar. Do you have a name for your guitar?
Actually, no, I do not. I do not, but I should.
Maybe your fans can help you decide on the name.
Yes.
Do a little contest,
I should.
That'd be good idea, right? Get everybody
Yes.
involved.
That's actually a good idea because everyone names their guitar, and I've just honestly never thought about it.
That's Jane, and that's Lily over there, and then I have a couple others. But
You have a lot of guitars.
yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
do. Yeah, I like guitars.
See, I'm like scared to name things because I named my car and I crashed it. I actually totaled it. So now I'm like, I don't want anything to happen to my guitar.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's. I mean, sometimes that just happens, But
Oh, yeah, definitely.
that'd be a good thing. It's just get everybody involved.
Yeah,
name
definitely. I definitely should like put a contest on my Instagram story.
They'd love it.
Oh yeah,
They absolutely would love that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you just played the CMA Music Festival, which is the biggest country music festival in the world. It's amazing as an emerging artist, as an unsigned artist. So that's great. So where are you going next? What are some of the things you haven't done that you want to do?
That's a hard question because I feel like I want to do everything I can possibly do.
So let's start with the first thing.
I would love to travel the world one day and just share my music with people.
Sure. That's great.
So that's like one of my goals.
Yeah.
To have like a tour, because I've never been on I've performed a lot, but like an actual tour I've never been on. So that's something I would love to do in a few years. And this summer I'll actually be in Missouri, I believe it is, opening up for Neil McCoy.
Oh, right on.
Which is going to be really fun.
He's super funny.
That's what everyone says.
It's hilarious.
I just feel like wherever God wants to put me, I'll be good with, and I just want to one day at a time and just have my music reach, even if it's just one person a day, a new person.
Yep, the message gets spread. So are you looking to eventually get a major record deal? Is that something you're trying to pursue, or are you just looking to work the best angle you can as an independent artist? Because I've seen people do both right now. I've seen people kill it as an independent artist, and I've seen people get signed, so we're really living in a cool time.
Oh, yeah.
2019. So what are some of your goals?
I mean, I feel like every artist would love to get a record deal, but like I said earlier, I'm just kind of being used wherever I'm put, and then hopefully one day it'll become more and more and more. But I'm just living day by day and just giving my best to whatever I'm doing that day.
Absolutely. You do a lot of work with Rachel's Challenge, which is an anti-bullying program you advocate for. So tell me about that.
Well, I love Rachel's Challenge.
What is it? I've never heard of it.
It's actually earlier how I mentioned Rachel Joy Scott.
Oh, okay. Yes.
She was all about compassion and being kind to others. And like a month before she passed away, she wrote an essay called My Ethics, My Codes of Life. And she challenges the reader to go out of their way to show compassion to other people. And because she says, because, you never may know, you might just start a chain reaction. And like, if you haven't read her story, Rachel Joy Scott, I really recommend it. Like, it's incredible. And Rachel's Challenge it's not a bullying program, but it's really a kindness program for schools, and it teaches, it gets to the kids' heart, because I feel like schools, they teach education, but they don't really get to the students' hearts anymore, which that's what Rachel's Challenge does. And they've actually stopped a few school shootings from happening, which is pretty cool.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. How did they do that?
All I know is I've just seen interviews of Rachel's brother Craig, and he says that I think he was in a school in Texas, and a guy came up and handed him a hit list and said, "You just saved a lot of people from dying at the school."
That's so powerful. Wow.
Her story just really, it's really just getting to a lost generation. And so that's what Rachel's Challenge is. And actually, my senior year of high school, I raised over $5,000 to bring it into the high school my senior year, which was really awesome. And
that's great.
Yes, it's a special program. And at the end, at my shows with my merchandise, since my EP is called Polaroid Picture, I take a Polaroid camera and I can take pictures. I think it's $5 or $7 for the picture that I take with the fan, and then I sign it, and then those proceeds go towards Rachel's Challenge. I'm going to give to them to give money to schools so that program can come into it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because schools more and more are just becoming I don't know. It's you're right though. It's sort of taking the human element out of it, and it's sort of we're losing how to build character with
I
the
completely
students
agree.
And build ethics and build people skills and build manners and all of those things that
it's like we're not getting to the heart.
You're right. That's a great way of putting it.
The student. So that's what Rachel's Challenge really does, and it's having a really good impact on students around the world.
Are you doing concerts for them?
No, I'm not. But
you should.
If they asked me, I would definitely not do it. I would completely 100% do it.
Absolutely. No, that's great. I think more people should be doing stuff like that, because that's just such a positive thing, and you feel so good about kind of where you're going.
Mm-hmm. And Rachel's changed my life, so I just want to help her story get to others.
Yeah.
So
that's great. So what are you working on right now? You're still writing some more songs.
Yes.
And you got some new singles coming out, some new videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What can we look forward to?
Well, like I said, sometime in July, I'll be releasing California Gypsies in the music video, which to me, it's my favorite video yet, because, California is just so beautiful.
It is.
And you can be looking forward to some new songs, which I think, to me, they're more mature sounding than this last record, which that's just what happens as an artist. Each song you release is more mature and more of your sound. Mm-hmm. So those will be coming out soon, and I'm super excited. And
you're opening for Neil McCoy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are you doing a radio tour right now too?
No, I am not.
Single? Okay, so you're just kind of getting the single out there. And
I'm doing radio interviews, but I wouldn't call it a tour. You know what I mean?
I love your tattoos.
Thank you.
You have a rose tattoo on your foot.
Yes.
On your right foot, and you have some musical notes on your left shoulder.
Yes.
And a few on your wrist.
Yes, I have two on my wrist. The rose on my foot is dedicated to my great-grandma. We called her Nanny. I think she's my number one role model. She just loved the Lord, and she just was the all-around perfect person, I swear. And then the music notes on my shoulder is, obviously what it is. I'm a musician. And then, and also just real quick, the rose. We got the rose for her because she loved roses.
Oh,
and
that's so sweet.
On my left arm, I have pretty is pretty does. And when I was younger, I was kind of a brat. So my nanny, she would always say to me, Ava, pretty is pretty does. And that just kind of stuck with me through my whole life. She passed away, but her daughter, which is my grandma, Oma, that I talked about earlier in the video, this is her handwriting.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, which it was really special to have
It's special.
her handwriting. Mm-hmm. And then I have a semicolon on my other wrist for my sister, because she's just had a lot of struggles in life, but she's overcome them. So yeah, that's for her.
I love that. Are you going to get more tattoos? You going to get like the sleeve one day?
Probably not a sleeve, but I was actually telling my mom, I was like, when we get back to Ohio, I want to get another tattoo. So I definitely want a couple more. But my sister, she has like, I want to say like almost 30 tattoos. I think she's addicted to them.
I have 0. So you're going to have to show me how this all works.
Do you ever want one?
I do. I just don't know what to get. I've always kind of wanted one maybe on like the back of my shoulder first. I don't know why that feels like a good spot, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I definitely recommend getting them.
Yeah.
But it definitely can be hard because it's on your body forever, so you want to make sure it's special.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so true. Well, I'll keep you posted on that.
Yes.
So we're talking a little bit about the human video, and that kind of, played a role into the charity that you are involved in. So you were talking a little bit earlier, and I think we forgot to mention that you had played several different characters. Kind of break that down a little bit.
Yes. Since it was a human video solo, I obviously didn't have others to play each character, so I had to play, I want to say about, if I remember correctly, it was about 6 or 7 different characters, which was pretty crazy. Like, wow. I played Rachel, and then I played one of the shooters, and then I played a homeless guy, and then I just played, at the beginning I played a preacher, and then I just played like other students, like this one girl dropped her books, and then Rachel helped her up with that. That just showed Rachel's compassion for other people. So it definitely was very challenging, but I got first place in Ohio for it.
That's awesome.
Which was pretty cool. So,
are you a big Ohio State fan?
Honestly, I'm not really a sports fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll root for them because they're my home team. But
we always play Hang On Sloopy whenever the Ohio people come in. I play downtown on Broadway sometimes, and we do the old.
Oh yes.
Oh
yes. Seen that a million times.
So I know if you were automatically an Ohio State fan, or that's just sort of something that But well, cool. Let's close out the show. Tell us a little bit about your new single. It's coming out this summer. Yes. California Gypsies. I love the name of that.
Thank you.
You wrote this song, and tell us about it. It's kind of an upbeat tune.
Yes, I wrote this song with Benji Harris. He's awesome. And it's my producer came to me and said, Ava, we need one more upbeat song for the EP. And I was like, oh my gosh. When we were on a time schedule, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to write about at this moment. So I got together with Benji, and we were like, you know what? Let's write a carefree song. And we actually took inspiration from, I don't know if you've heard the song Summer by Cassidy Pope, but that kind of vibe and feeling to it. And it's just a carefree song about, there's so much drama in life all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just about girls driving to California and, getting away from all the drama in life just for a little bit and just living life. And there's one lyric in the song that's really cute, I think. It's called Kissing Boys When We Get the Chance. Just carefree and just living life day by day.
That's awesome. We're going to play that in just a second. Before we close out today's episode, tell the fans how they can hear your music. What are all of your social media links?
Yes, you can stream my music on all digital platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music, etc. And then you can find me on my YouTube channel, which, if you look up Ava Rowland, you'll see it. And then on my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'm under Ava Rowland Music.
Perfect. Well, that's today's guest, CMA Spotlight artist Ava Rowland. This is her newest single, California Gypsies. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's podcast. I am Justine Blazer. Have a great day.
Frappuccino in a magazine, a tank full of gasoline, stereo singing Springsteen, windows down, running wild on the open road and making waves out the window, little bit